The house on Ashwood Lane. Nobody in town liked to talk about the house at the end of Ashwood Lane. It wasn't the broken shutters, or the way weeds clawed up through the porch steps, or the faded paint peeling like skin. No, what made people cross the street and quicken their pace was the silence. The kind of silence that felt intentional, like the house was holding its breath, waiting. For 15 years it had stood empty. The previous owners, an elderly couple named the Whitakers, had disappeared one winter without explanation. Their car was found abandoned in the garage, keys still in the ignition, snow drifted high around the tires. No luggage, no footprints, just gone. Children dared each other to run up and touch the front door. Teenagers told ghost stories about the windows that watched you and the lights that sometimes flickered at night, though no one had lived there in years. So when Emily Carter bought the place, people whispered. 2. Emily was 30, newly divorced, and desperate for a fresh start. She worked remotely as a graphic designer, and the price was too good to ignore. Fixer-upper with character, the real estate agent had called it, though even he wouldn't step beyond the porch. From the moment Emily pulled into the cracked driveway, she felt the weight of the house pressing on her. But she pushed the unease aside. She needed this. Needed to believe that peeling wallpaper and creaking floors could be fixed with enough paint and determination. The first night, she unpacked only the essentials: coffee mugs, a mattress on the floor, her laptop. The house groaned with every step, but she convinced herself it was just age. At midnight, she awoke to a sound. Soft, steady. Drip, drip, drip. She followed it into the kitchen, where a single faucet dripped into the sink. Only, when she touched the handle, she found it bone dry. No water line connected. 3. The next morning, Emily walked through each room with a notebook, making a list of repairs. The air inside was stale, heavy with dust. She noticed odd details: a door in the upstairs hallway that refused to open no matter how she pushed, a closet lined with mirrors instead of shelves, scorch marks high on the ceiling of the dining room. In the basement, she found boxes left behind by the Whitakers. Most were filled with ordinary junk, old linens, rusted tools, but one box contained nothing but photographs. Every single photo was of the house. Different angles, different seasons. Some were decades old, edges yellowed and curling. In each photo, no matter how far back in time, one window was always black. The upstairs window at the end of the hall, the same door that wouldn't open. For that night, she dreamed of water. She stood at the foot of a staircase, watching as dark water seeped down the steps, carrying fragments of broken wood, torn fabric, bones that clicked against one another. From above came a whisper, low and unbroken, "Let us in." Emily woke drenched in sweat. Her phone read 3:03 a.m. She swore she heard footsteps above her, slow and deliberate, moving past the locked door in the hall. 5. Over the next week, small things began to unravel. Her laptop screen flickered with static, though the battery was fine. She heard voices in the kitchen when she was upstairs. Low, urgent, too muffled to make out. When she hung a mirror in the hallway, her reflection lagged a second behind. On the 7th day, she found the upstairs door standing open. Inside was a narrow room with slanted ceilings, wallpaper yellowed and peeling in strips. A rocking chair sat in the center, swaying though the air was still. On the wall, scrawled in something dark and dried, were 5 words: "Don't look at the window." Emily turned, heart racing, and froze. The window was open. Outside was only night, but pressed against the glass from the other side was a face, not human. Too long, too pale, the mouth stretched into a smile that never ended, and then, in a blink, it was gone. 6. She tried to convince herself it was stress, that her mind, worn thin by divorce and loneliness, was inventing things. But then came the whispers. At first they rose from the floorboards, sighs carried through wood. Then they began speaking her name. Emily, Emily, Emily. The worst was the mirror in the closet. One night, she found herself staring at it for hours, unable to look away. Her reflection no longer matched her movements exactly. When she raised her hand, the reflection was a beat too late, its eyes just a fraction sharper, its smile a fraction wider. It whispered, "Stay with us." 7. Desperate, Emily went to the town library, combing through old records. The house had a history. Built in 1901 by a man named Jonathan Greaves. He'd been a preacher, but the church expelled him for heretical practices. Rumors spoke of midnight gatherings in the house, chants that carried down Ashwood Lane, neighbors who went missing. Greaves vanished one night in 1913. No trace was ever found. Over the decades, families came and went. Some moved out within months. A few didn't leave at all. The Whitakers were only the latest. The librarian, an elderly woman with trembling hands, lowered her voice. "That house isn't empty," she whispered. "It keeps what it likes." 8. The next evening, Emily packed her car. Enough was enough. She would break her lease, take the financial hit, leave the damn house to rot. But when she tried to start the engine, nothing happened. The battery was drained, though it had been new last month. She decided to call a tow truck. But when she pulled out her phone, the screen lit with a message she hadn't typed: "You can't leave." Her phone powered off. Dead. Inside the house, the whispers grew louder.